In this video, we'll be going through how to read the Excel files with the help of Python. So there are different libraries that can be used to read the Excel file with the help of Python. And then there are different methods as well while using those libraries. We will be going through them one by one, and we'll also write code so that it's easier for you to try it of your own. Right. So let's start this. See, reading Excel files with the help of Python can be done in multiple ways depending on the specific needs. Let's say you would like to read large Excel files, or let's say you would like to read complex Excel file which has, let's say, the formats or different formats, and sometimes you would like to do the analysis part. So each, let's say, libraries has its own pros and cons. So we'll be going through each libraries and we'll try to understand which kind of or which type of library will suit you or your requirement. Activate the virtual environment. So this was v underscore scripts activate, right? And then let's create a new Jupyter notebook, right? So let me give it a name. Let's say one underscore read Excel files Python. We might need to install the. Okay, so what I'm doing over here, we will be running the IPYNB extension file, so which is IPython notebook. So for Jupyter notebook is basically, so for that we also need to install pip install Jupyter. Okay, and one more thing which I forgot to select is the virtual environment. So this is what it is. So we have to select the kernel as well, kernel, not kernel. Okay, great. Let me just check it. Import pandas spd. Right, and then let's run this. So it should work exactly. So it's working. Okay, good. Okay, so let's start with our, so we will start with our pandas library. So pandas library has one of the methods which is like read Excel, right? So let's start with the read Excel markdown. So let's say read Excel with pandas library using read Excel method. Okay, so for the pandas part, like we imported pandas as PD, right? I think this is enough. Okay, since we have imported the PD, I think one more thing that we need to install is pip install. Okay, I will show you the error first. So with only the pandas, it will not work. What you need also to do is basically data frame read, okay, pd dot read Excel, right? And then if you say see, you don't need to basically mention the file path. Excel functions and formulas, remove this. You don't need multiple double inverted comma. Right, now if you run this, you will get an error. For an example, let's say, right, what it says is no module named OpenPyXL is installed. So for that, what we will do, we will also install pip install OpenPyXL, right? I will come on to that. What OpenPyXL is, basically OpenPyXL is an advanced Excel reader. But even to read the data with the help of pandas, you need to have OpenPyXL installed. Okay, so we have installed the OpenPyXL. Now, if you read this one, you would see that it has read this data. Now, if I open the Excel file, I will show you. It has taken the first Excel sheet basically. Now, this was the data that it has taken, or the first sheet it has taken. Now, if you would like to read, let's say this, okay, code function, right? Now, for that, if you want to read the data from a particular sheet, you need to pass that sheet name as well. Code function is the sheet name. Let's try this one. So this is what the sheet function code function sheet has the data, right? So even though we have mentioned over here that read Excel file with pandas library using read Excel method, but for this there are two things that you need to make sure. That first is pip install pandas, and then you also need to install pip install OpenPyexl. Right, now these were the two things, or let's say the libraries that you needed to install, right? And then next, if you come to the OpenPyXL, um, so the OpenPyXL supports the advanced features, or let's say advanced operations within the Excel. Let's say it supports XLX file, XLXM file, XLTM file, and then yeah, most of these file formats, or let's say the extensions. Um, if you would like to do the complex operations on the Excel that the pandas might not support, I think OpenPyXL is the best library to use. Right, so let's do that, and I will show you why is it so. Markdown, use OpenPyXL methods to read Excel data. Okay, I would say advanced. I'll show you that as well. Now, when you read an Excel file, basically you need to have, or let's say you need to open the Excel file and do the all those activities or the operations that you normally do, right? That can be done with the OpenPyXL. Now, let's say since we have already imported the OpenPyXL, we don't need to, I mean, yeah, we need to install a method from OpenPyXL import load workbook. So this will help us to open the workbook, right? So when I say the workbook, it's basically this one, right? So I will close this one first, and then let's run this. Now, let's create an object WP or load workbook, file name, Excel functions and formulas, right? Why is it? So this is a file name that we have, and then let's say the sheet is equal to which sheet you would like to have, whichever the active workbook sheet is. So wb dot active. So when it says active, it means whichever, when you open this Excel workbook, right? So we look up best practice is the Excel workbook which will be active. So we will read this sheet, and then let me write this reads active work sheet, right? And then the next line of code will be data is equal to, let's say, sheet a1 dot value. Let's see if we have anything, right? And let me check. So no error. Let's run this on this data. So we have price as the value. Let's check if it is the value. So we have price. Okay, let's read the A7, right? So I will say I want to read cell A7. Let's run this again and then A7. So 651, 651. Right, this is how you use the OpenPyXL to read the data. Now let's go to xlrd. Now the best part about xlrd is it supports the older versions of Excel, let's say XLS file. Right, so let's try to do that as well. So if you see over here, this is an XLS file, right? And then we will try to read this file as well, because earlier we were trying to read XLSX file. So for that, let's go back to our code. What we will do, we will use the, okay, let's first use xlrd to read XLS file. But before that, let's try it with the OpenPyXL, right? If it is working or not. So let's try this, and then rest of the things will remain the same. So what it says, the OpenPyXL does not support the old XLS file format. Please use xlrd to read this file. Right, so good. So we have this error, which is good. We will remove this one. Okay. So for that, let's remove this, right? Let's write the code, import Excel pip. Don't want to do it over there. So let's say pip install xlrd installed. So let's say import xlrd, right? And then let's run this. Workbook is equal to open workbook. Excel function, and then let's give sheet is equal to workbook dot sheet. Okay, let's run this so that Excel SX file not support. Excel. Okay, let's convert this file properly. Okay, now let's because see, the error was basically I was renaming the extension. So let's try this one. So we have workbook, so no error right now. Now let's say sheet is equal to workbook dot sheet by index. Index I will give 0 so that the first Excel sheet is read, right? So let's run this one, and then so let me comment this first sheet from the workbook is read. Okay. Okay, now after that, let's say data is equal to sheet dot cell value. I would say 0 comma 0. So what it basically does, it will read the first cell and first row and first column, right? Let me that data. So it basically gives items. So now if you would like to see what is the name of the sheet, Let me show you that as well. Sheet dot name page break. So if we open the sheet, so let me, so this was the first sheet with index 0 and items was the cell value. Okay, great. Now let's move on to the next library. We have Pyexcel. So basically, Pyexcel is mostly it's a wrapper library. So what I mean to say, the wrapper library is basically under the hood. It uses the Pandas, OpenPyxl, and xlrd, right? So it basically uses the features of all these libraries that I mentioned earlier. So as it mentions, it uses all those features of the libraries that I mentioned earlier, right? So let's do that as well. I'll give you a small example, but I'll not go very deep, right? Use, so you remove this one. I'll say use Pyexcel to read Excel, right? So let's say first pip install Pyexcel, import Pyexcel as P, right? Let's run this and then, well, basically it's supposed to work. I don't know why it's not working. I have even installed the Pyexcel XLSX and XLSX. I don't know. Let's move on to the next library. Okay, one of the library that I have not mentioned is the XLSX writer. Now, see, choosing the right tool is really important, like I mentioned earlier, right? So for the data analysis and the manipulation part, I would say the Pandas is really good because you have various options over there, right? And then you can also pass multiple parameters. Um, and in most of the time in the data science field, the Pandas is used. Now, if you would like to work on the Excel on a detailed level, let's say you would like to open the workbook, you would like to format the Excel and do multiple operations like you do in the macro or VBA, then OpenPyXL is one of the best options, I would say. Now, XLRD again is used to read the Excels which are of the older formats, let's say the formats before 2003 version, right? And then last but not the least, xlrd is one of the good options to write the data in the Excel. So like I said, each library has its own features, strengths, and let's say the limitations. So choosing a right library totally depends on your requirement or your what you need to do with the Excel, right? So that's all for now. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe if you like this video.